he got a good laugh out of us talking about our snowstorm. He sent me a couple texts.
You guys have a game plan. Does that alter any with the weather, the way it came in at the beginning of the game? And since you guys warmed up, had a chance to get a feel for it,
hang on, folks.
normally don't see it or playing it. How difficult does that make your game plan and changing things a little bit?
It definitely simplified things. There's no doubt about that. My wife got a good joke. Good thing you spent all that time game planning. And, it changed what we wanted to do. And fortunately for us, our kids were really physical Friday night. And it allowed us to not have a whole lot of moving parts and just run what we run really well. And I think it helped us.
Now, you guys have had an overwhelming advantage over Chaminade over the last, I'll say, 2+ seasons, a little over 2 seasons now. And going into the Chaminade game, we had talked about preparation and how well you felt the team was preparing for playoffs, and then they go into the Chaminade game. What was your take after the game was over? You had a chance to now digest some of the film against them.
It's coming in, coming out. Coming in, coming out.
On my feed?
Yeah. Lose it. Comes out. I gotta recast
Getting
it.
close to where you wanted to be now as the league seems to click off closer to the state championship.
We're definitely improving every week. And, it's funny because a couple of years ago and last year I had questions. And to be honest with you, 2 years ago when we won it,
I don't know. I can't do this right.
I like it.
I felt like we still had a ton of room for improvement.
I'm going here in a second here.
The shame is, with these kids, that year, we don't have the opportunity to improve anymore.
We're gonna have
I
technical
feel the
difficulties
same way
here.
about this group. Yes, we're making big strides. I think we're becoming more disciplined.
Try my
We've always
right.
been physical, but our technique is becoming better. We understand a little bit more what we're trying to accomplish as a group. But
Yeah.
we're nowhere near.
It's pissing me off. Should have set this up last night. I haven't met her, Ricky.
Where we could be. When you watch film, you watch our guys enough in practice to know we still.
I haven't admitted here.
Just hope we go fast in practice.
How tough is it for a team to, and when you talk about growth, how tough is it for a team to continue to grow as the season wears on, and now planning and everything like that along those lines becomes very different because you don't have as much time. Maybe you would have.
The good thing is we built up a little bit.
Yeah, before the game here.
Each week right now, I can tell you this week, discipline and fitting where you're supposed to, and front end and the back end is absolutely critical. And those are the areas we need to see the most improvement on the whole season. But certainly we've gotten better than that. From Fayetteville till now, improvement has been massive. But
I heard that, folks.
Have to improve quite a bit.
That would be perfect. It'd be all right.
This week you get Jackson, and at the beginning of the season when we had talked, I had mentioned to you that I felt that the schedule that you had this year, probably one of the most difficult schedules of
1:30, it'd be 1:30.
Although Jackson has its own set of issues, we haven't seen anyone that does the things they do that well yet. Now, you know, when you face CBC, they're just so good at everything. And they do some RPO stuff. Elder does some RPO stuff. In the past, Jackson has been just dynamite with that stuff. Their system is very specific, and they're really, really good at what they do. And so when you watch them on film versus a team that say is pretty talented defensively, and they score 60 points, a big majority of the points are because their kids know exactly what it takes to execute their offense to be successful. So for us, we have to be disciplined with where our eyes are. We've got to be disciplined with how we fit up front and in the back end. We've got to be disciplined in man, not to peak. We've got to be, so if we are, we're going to be able to compete and play well. If we're not, to give you the perfect example was last year. They came in and, if we would have done this interview, it would have been the exact same thing. I'd say, you got to have great eye focus. You got, we did not do that, and they scored 50 points. And for us, this time around, it was great getting the shots of film early this week and say, there's 7 scores. Here's the 7. And you look at them and, we peaked on that play. And that play we fit wrong. And that play, so our kids see it. It's a matter of executing on Saturday in order to get that done.
What's the focus like for the team over the last couple of weeks, confidence-wise? We know that this team is a very confident team, but there is a difference between being confident and cocky and confident that, hey, we're getting ready, we're in our groove right now.
I feel really good about that. This group is confident. There's no doubt about that. And obviously when you deal with teenage kids, I'm not going to say through 11 weeks, we haven't had an instance here or there of cockiness, but I will say, we certainly were humbled at Elder. And I felt before that, I felt like we were really competitive with everyone, including CBC. That was a competitive game for 3 quarters, but I felt with Elder, it showed us that, we can't have off days, and they were just really good at what they do. So there's no way we're cocky, no way. Our kids know that Jackson can hurt us. They've heard that story from us. And quite frankly, they stand in the way of where we want to be, just like we stand in the way for them. So our guys this week in practice understand how important these things are. They've seen it on film. The message will continue to get driven home today and hopefully tomorrow if we have school and Friday. So I expect us to come out and play good football.
You talked about Elder being a humbling experience, and I sat on the bus coming home for 6 hours. I didn't hear a sound. Was that loss harder for this team than any other loss this season?
The funny thing is when you go back and look at things, and we're big in reframing and looking, when you go back and actually show the kids on film and you show them, I think I talked with you about this. The last play of the first half, we had an opportunity and we didn't score. You score there, it makes it 28-14. The second play of the second half, we have a play that's perfectly set up. We don't execute. And it probably could have been another score. So you make 2 plays and the score's 28-21 a minute into the third quarter. We don't make those plays. They make a play, and now the score's 35-7 in the game. So it was a great opportunity. I think that night, it was humbling. I think you get into film and you start looking and you say, we had over 300 yards of offense. They had just over 4. So when you look at that, you're like, well, that score isn't indicative of maybe what you generated and they generated. But the good thing is it allowed us, a way to look and say, we're not as good at stopping the run as what we thought we were. We need to get better at eye discipline in the RPO game on defense. We need to be more physical in all 11 spots on offense if we want to run the ball against a great team. So it's the reason we schedule those games. And I think I can tell you this, we've had the best weeks of practice we've had in a long, long time since that game.
we kind of talk about many different things during the course of the year. And I know what kind of an answer I might get from you, but I have to ask you anyway. If there's one.
No, not about I get this all the time. I know people ask that, but the answer is no. I'm full-time teaching and coaching.
I was just making sure that
Okay.
I wasn't gonna see you in a Cabela's
No,
magazine this
no.
weekend. What's the one key for your team? And don't tell me we have to score more points than the other team, because you tell me that all the time.
I actually got a email from one of my really good college friends, and he's a coach as well, and shot a few emails back and forth, and it's really neat at this time of the year because you get those, and he said, "What's it going to take?" Almost the exact same thing as you did, and just I'll show you the email later if you think I'm lying. I actually said I thought of Coach Gibb, our college coach, when he asked it, and I said, he told us in college in a theories of coaching class that in high school football, more scores happen due to error rather than execution. And if you can teach your kids to simply line up correctly, have great eye discipline, and know where they're supposed to fit in all situations, that it will be very, very difficult for the other team to score. And so when I sent that back, I just sent back that quote, and then I said, "Oh, and we need a block and tackle." And so, see, he chuckles. Truth be told, and we understand what they're trying to accomplish. And our kids are dialed in the film, and I feel like we're very confident in the yard run. Do we panic and stop executing? And from a defensive standpoint, that's what it is. You got to be physical, you got to tackle, and we have to make sure we're disciplined in everything. Offensively, it truly is about us being the most physical team on the field. It's going to be just like if you've seen us play. Right now, I think one of my assistants told me we're right at 2,000 or 5,000 yards for the season. And when you look at it, we're just over 3,000 rushing and right below 2,000 passing. And I truly believe that this game will mirror that. I think, we've got to be able to run the ball on our terms. We've got to be able to hit some plays and play action, hurt them. And then we have to block, and we have to play football, take care of the ball.
You've been a team that, when winning the flip a coin, you've always deferred. I'm expecting pretty much the same. How important is field position going to be? Because we're taping on Wednesday, bad weather is expected Thursday and part of Friday. How important is field position going to be for a game Saturday?
It's huge, and I don't know if you're familiar with Jackson. People think it's a good thing. I've always said this: if you take over a program that struggles, nobody cares that you go for it on fourth down, or that you kick more onside, or they're just excited to see it success. And then when you turn the program, everybody's like, "Well, that's just what they do. They're a little crazy." Okay, so we think outside the box in a lot of ways in special teams. Jackson takes that philosophy to a whole nother level. So, if they kick off 5 times a game, it's 5 onside, and it's usually 5 different onside. So our hands team this week, we worked it to death. We've worked every onside we've had on film in the last 2 years. Our kids are pretty dialed in terms of what they're doing based on how they align. We've got personnel and spots that make plays. So that part of field position is huge, because if we recover the first 2 or 3, now the onsides become deeper. So squid kicks in there. So why that's important is because if you can do that, you're starting every possession at the 30. We need to continue to kick well. We need to, in the punt game, if it's fourth down, probably 60% of them go for it. So if you get the stop, you've got the field position. So for us this week, we really have harped with our kids that we win the field position battle by simply playing great defense and recovering onside kicks. And so it'll be big, and it's something that we've certainly spent a lot of time on in both film and practice.
Before I let you go, I've talked about the big win for the Buffalo Bills last week. They knocked off the New York Jets. Matt Barkley has come in, and actually Nathan Peterman was waived on Monday. And give me your thoughts on the winning ways of the Buffalo Bills after this week.
Well, if there were
Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys. Yesterday. Making me mad today.
you're just a disgruntled player where they're just fed up that they, oh yeah, we couldn't beat, but they're NFL players. I mean, those guys are, it's just a whole different.
What's on here, folks? Bitch. Your Bluetooth gave up on me.
Bluetooth. Wi-Fi.
No, your Bluetooth.
I don't have Bluetooth. I got Wi-Fi. I can't even get it to play on my phone. Almost.
Your Bluetooth speaker's not working no more, Rick. Well, can't do without it. Second here. 40.
Somebody had to send it out on the internet, but you know, whatever they send it out on, could get fucked up. No. How come I don't have Chrome? No, my phone don't play it on that. Where at right now?
I have it a second here. Finally.
I need to go restart my fucking Wi-Fi. What if I would go and plug my Wi-Fi in there? Jack, what do you think? Restart my
Well, I'm busy with this here. I'm almost done with this here. I'm almost done with this. Hang on. Your Bluetooth speaker ain't working. I should bring mine. Do better. I'll do better. Do better. It froze up. Yeah.
Yeah, Jackson fumbled on the fucking first play of the game.
But your my screen froze up on me.
I think I'm gonna reboot. It's gonna take a while. Unplug my fucking.
My screen froze up on me.
Okay.